Hello and welcome to another Nerf video on the channel. My name is Luke Triton and this is part 2 of a little video series I've been doing in regards to electronic attachments that Nerf has made. So the previous episode that I looked at the electronic attachments was more of just an overview, just me showing off all of the electronic attachments that I have gathered over the years. And when I came back into the hobby, there's so much more for me to take in, which was really fun. And with my past experience in Nerf and now my new modern experience with Nerf, I want to give off some opinions as to what attachments I believe are worth picking up, the electronic ones specifically. So in the original video I showed off 10, and in this video I'm going to show off 5. 3 of them are recommended and 2 are kind of their own sort of things. So we'll do those 2 first. Starting off with the red dot sight. Everybody loves this attachment, it's really cool, but I'm not recommending this for one reason strictly, and that's in relation to this video. You don't really use it for the red dot, you just use it for the cool optic itself. When you activate the red dot, it's very difficult to see the red dot when you aim down the sight. It is possible, but it's more in this lower section here. You have to aim it kind of like this and tilt it upwards to be able to look through the optic whilst looking at the red dot itself. And it's all confusing, it's all really stupid, so if you do grab one of these, good, it's definitely a good attachment worth keeping. Don't waste your batteries on putting it in this, however, it's just not worth it. You can definitely do so if you really want to. I mean, this is just my personal opinion and my own recommendation, but with how it kind of functions, it's just not worth it. The second attachment I'm going to give off is the other scope. This one. This is a Vortex scope, and it is one that I'm liking a lot. It's something I'm using on my personal combo with the regulator. It is very different looking. The whole Vortex line was very unique, had that modern or futuristic sort of look to it. And when it comes to aiming down sights, just to quickly show it off here now, you can see that it has lights, which is really cool. And the overall shape of it is something that I am really happy with. So the mounting pod down here is still trying to figure out what the name is for this whole mounting section. So when you actually mount it onto a tactical rail, it's in the back half of the attachment itself. So when you're going to put it on a blaster and you aim it down sights, it's not back here, it's about here, which is really useful because you don't have to move your head back uncomfortably whilst the attachment is right up against your face. It's more forward focused and you can really look down sights and getting yourself into a comfortable position whilst you're aiming down the scope, which is really cool. So that's probably the main factor as to why I personally like this, but then again, this isn't too common. People are selling this with the Vortex blaster that it came with, the Nitron I believe it's called. Still can't remember. But it is fairly expensive because you are paying for the blaster as well as the attachment. I was lucky to find this at a special, well, not necessarily a special auction, but one that was hidden, that's the word I should be using. It was about £5 for the starting bid. I was able to get this for a few more. But even then, it's cool, but not necessarily for everyone. It's just the overall look and feel to it. If it's your sort of playstyle, then go for it. Now then, on to the 3 recommended electronic attachments for this video. First one is the torch. This is very common. It's not the best torch ever, but in terms of in competition with all the other laser pointers and torches that Nerf has made, this is the best one. So I'm not going to actually show it at the screen, I'm going to have to do it sideways. That's one thing I need to remember. So it is fairly bright for a Nerf torch. It has a white light and other torches have a sort of green light, or I've seen the Recon one with like a red light, which is darker and in some ways, you know, kind of cooler, but this is the brightest option. Secondly, because of how thin this is, you can attach this to a side rail and it will be nice and sleek. It doesn't break the overall silhouette of the blaster. Putting it underneath a barrel as well also looks really cool, again because of how thin this is. And overall, because it's so common, you're bound to pick this one up sooner or later. You can probably find this on eBay for a few quid, and these are available on their own sort of kit. That doesn't come with any other attachments. It was available as a solo purchase. I was able to get another one from the Demolisher Ultimate Customizer kit from the modular set, which is kind of interesting because if they're going to make another torch, I don't see why they couldn't just make another one. But because of how popular I suppose this is, because it is a good torch, it makes sense to re-release it again to give more Nerfers down the line a chance to own one. So yeah, I would recommend this as my first electronic attachment. The second one is the Chrono Barrel. This is an all-round really good attachment. I, for one, am liking where electronic attachments are going, and this is excellent proof. So this is two things. It is an ammo counter and a chronograph. A chronograph measures the speed and distance of something. Not fully accurate, you might have to correct me on that, but the idea is when you fire a Nerf dart through a chronograph, it tends to measure in feet per second, and that shows how hard that blaster is firing. So Nerf blasters nowadays tend to hit 70 feet per second, and this barrel can measure that. It has an option menu. It's a bit too detailed for me to show you here, and I did go through that in the original video, so if you want to look up it in more details, be sure to check that video out. But all in all, it measures how hard your blaster is hitting, it counts the ammo, both counting upwards and counting downwards. It's also clear, which is kind of cool. I would love to see more clear attachments and clear blasters in the future, but I wouldn't mind, well, not necessarily doing this myself, but I would have preferred if this had a solid colour to it, just so it matches everything else I currently have. Clear attachments and clear blasters aren't too common, but slowly but surely we are getting more, so that's a good thing. All in all, it's a very funky little attachment. It's very cheap as well. I was able to pick this up between £15 and £20, and chronographs on its own go for around £100, something like that. Again, it's all triple digits going upwards. So if it's just a chronograph you're after, get this. I mean, why not? It's absolutely amazing. Nice little compact barrel as well. Nice little end piece. Very cool. And finally, my third recommended electronic attachment is the Modulus Day-Night Zoom Scope. This is a magnificent little attachment, and I have used this on a number of different personal combos. I'm still using this, I'm still playing around with it because it is so much fun. So it does what it says on the tin. It has a zoom in and out feature, and it has night vision, which is really cool. These, if I move in, I forgot to mention this in the original video, these little light bulbs, or these sort of things here, these are infrared sensors. So when you turn this on, these will activate, as you just saw there. That's ready to go. So now, when you go to aim down sights, you can see what you're doing a lot better as if these went there. Bit odd for me to explain it, but you kind of have to look down sights in order for you to understand it as well. And I'm not so much of a tech head, so that's probably the best explanation I can give. Nonetheless, it does work really well. Now, a second thing I suppose that I forgot to mention in the original video, that whilst this isn't a camera, it doesn't record or take pictures, but the sort of resolution itself isn't the best. So it has its own sort of grid that you're looking at when you're looking down the scope, and when you press this knob here to increase the zoom, if I just aim down sights now to make sure I know what I'm talking about, it takes that image and it expands it. So it's not getting any more detailed. You can see the black lines as to where the pixels are, and it's just not a good quality view. But then again, you know what you're getting into by looking at it through this. So let me just make sure I'm all the way zoomed out. There we go. It goes from ×1 all the way up to ×5 zoom, which I think is really cool. But at ×5, as you saw in the original video, it's not detailed at all. It's really finicky, and yeah, that's something to keep an eye out for. But for what this offers, and for what this has the potential for going down the line into future Nerf attachments, I still think this is a really good purchase. I got mine for £50. It was always going to be a really expensive item for what it offers. Chances are you'll be able to pick one up at the same price. Then again, some sellers might sell it for triple digits, which is stupid. But all in all, what I'm basically trying to say is, get this attachment. It is absolutely spectacular. And just for the sake of putting all three attachments onto one blaster, here we go. These are three incredible attachments. Whilst these are all battery powered, it's definitely a step up for what Nerf is doing. Some of these are older than others, but then again, it's all just incredible to know that this is a thing that you can buy. It's absolutely amazing, and it really does take the Nerf hobby to an all new level. Thank you all ever so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you all in the next episode. Bye.